Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday, August 10th, 2021, regular Selectmen's meeting. The Selectmen have already opened our meeting officially because we went into executive session ahead of time. So we've done the roll call and the Pledge of Allegiance. We've already done the executive sessions. That'll move us into the approvals of our meeting minutes from August 10th, 2021.
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? 5-0. So we have a public comment here next, but we also have a public hearing. Can I ask if you're here for a public comment or the public hearing? Or do you know the difference?
Public hearing.
Public hearing? All right, anybody for the public comment? Not. I will open up a public hearing on the medical marijuana production facility, Future Generation Farms at 398 School Street. So this is the, where we are looking to change the wording on that, James, is that what that was about?
This is just a license hearing.
The licensing hearing?
Yep.
Okay,
This is one of the several tenants at 398 School Street. There are 5 buildings, and each building has 1 to 3 tenants. Just go over quickly the purpose of licensing, the reason why we put it in. It's to maintain reasonable control over practices. It's really to address life safety concerns, but I think what we're mostly seeing are nuisance concerns. So that's lighting, outside lighting, odor issues. 398 School Street was approved as agriculture for buildings 1, 2, and 3, and they were permitted through, buildings 4 and 5 were permitted through planning board as conditional uses. The planning office did receive several complaints this morning about 398 School Street. And this was the first time I've heard complaints. It's been about a year since I've had a formal complaint. These issues included intermittent odor issues, lighting, and someone utilizing the site to buffer a boat. I will say lighting and the boat buffering issues are code enforcement issues that will be investigated. In terms of licensing issues, would be an odor issue. And I spoke with the applicant who's here today, Mr. Terrio. I spoke with him this afternoon. He confirmed that he changes his carbon filtration annually. And the building is not responsible of the boat or not responsible for the lighting violations. And I just made a note
They are
that
responsible for the odors.
he's responsible for the odor. He did say that.
The reason we're having the odor, I think, is because the carbon filter, but it's also the weather was kind of, clouds were low. And when I go by there, I can smell it at night, like the last week or so. When it's not, it's a clear night, you don't smell it.
Right, right.
So that's how I,
That's not true, sir. I'm living right behind you, and I can smell it. I'm sitting in my
well,
swing, that's all I'm smelling.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
We'll give you a chance to speak. Well, when you speak, you'll have to come to the microphone, so,
I'll be done in a second.
yeah.
Oh,
So-
no problem, take your time.
So
Yeah,
my
we'll hear ya.
my recommendation would be considering approving the license with conditions. The first condition would be if building 1B is the source of any land use violations, the violation shall be resolved within 2 weeks or license be revoked. And number 2, Mr. Terrio shall provide proof of carbon filtration replacement to be approved for the next license renewal by August 24th, 2020. So my thought behind that would be ensuring that we know he's replacing them annually, and I think making that a standard condition going forward will help prevent odor issues from popping up. There are 13 different units out there, so where the odor comes from, I mean, if it pops up, Jen will have to go out and identify it. Or at least we'll know, as long as you're replacing yours annually,
Yep.
it's not coming from your building.
No, I definitely do. I follow all town guidelines. all
Excuse me,
state-
sir.
Oh, sorry.
When you speak, we'll have to have you come to the microphone. All right, I'm gonna allow the public to speak. You name and where you live?
My name is Lorraine Hughes, and I live on 404 School Street. And I live in back of the pot place. When I'm sitting, it's in front of me.
Right.
And I do still smell. Now, I've been going through this for a year to 2 years now. We've been at meetings saying that he was gonna filter the things, and plus the oil. I'm still getting smell. I have to shut my windows in my house on a nice, beautiful day, and I should not have to do that. Okay, and so, and I feel like nothing has been, I'm not against what he's doing, okay, or anything like that. I just don't like smelling it.
Now, you say you've been to meetings.
Yes, we have. Yes, I
Planning
have.
board meetings, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, because it's the first time
About-
we've seen you, so.
Well, no, I've been here about the smell, they said he was gonna filter them, and also the oil. And I've been to a few meetings, this is the third one I've come to now for this, and I'm still getting the same thing.
What's the oils?
We'll give him a chance.
I don't know what the oil is,
Yeah,
he's
we'll-
asking him
we'll
what the
give him a
oil
chance
is.
to- So it's mostly the smells that, you're concerned with?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anybody could live there while you have these buildings. We have a person living there. Because I hear trucks, and the guy was working on it one night, so there is somebody living there. So I didn't think there could be
that allowed?
anybody that lives there. I didn't think it was.
Is it legal?
No.
How long has
Not
that been
legal.
going on?
So, how are they otherwise, one of the things we heard about was the lighting and issues
The
and
lighting,
stuff.
it's still the lighting, not as bad as it was, that had gotten better, but I'm still, where that house is, where I hear garage, the motors going and everything else, that one right there, it's directly into my dining room,
Right,
sorry.
right.
Yes,
You live right at the gate then? Is that where
excuse
you?
me?
You live across the street from the gate?
No,
No,
I live,
you live on the backside.
Backside.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, but it's coming in through my backyard,
Uh-huh.
you understand?
Yeah.
Yes. And when they chopped the trees down, it made difference. We don't have the protection that we had before since they chopped the trees down. So we're getting a lot of this stuff. And I've been there for a long time, and I don't see why I should have to put up with it.
You don't.
Shouldn't.
You don't. It says clearly in the code, there's not supposed to be any odor coming out of the building. If there's odor coming out of the building, someone's gotta straighten it out.
I know, sir, but you know how many times I've heard this?
Yeah, well, someone's got to straighten it out.
And nobody's
These guys
straightening it
gotta
out.
hire a specialist or whatever they gotta do.
No.
But that's the way the deal is. It was written that way, and we're here to tell them they gotta fix it.
Other than that, I don't have a
You got X
problem.
amount of days to fix it, or you get shut down. That's
Other than
the
that,
end.
I do not have a problem. I know they sell it over there and whatever. I don't care.
All right.
I'm just concerned about the smell. I don't like the smell,
All right, Thank you.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually don't have a problem with giving him a license. I have a problem with the landlord. The lights are a big issue. They shine right into my house. I don't smell it too often, but once or twice a month. And the people living there, and there's a guy buffing a boat at 10 o'clock at night. I had to call the cops on him twice to get it shut down. I think you should give him his license. I don't have a problem with him. The landlord needs to be straightened out. I mean, he's raking it in. He could do something about it.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the lights,
I know
there
why.
is an ordinance, and it was said that the last 3 times I've done with this, the lights cannot be shining into my
Right,
windows.
yes, you can't smell it.
Right.
You're not supposed to be able to smell it.
Talking
He's
about
been,
the
he's been
lights.
called on that before.
No, it hasn't gotten any better. It's the same deal. I don't think they can make it any more. I smell it.
When you said the lights, are you talking about the lights of vehicles, or are you talking about the lights of the actual, the
His security
the
lights.
security
Correct,
lights?
the landing lights of the planes that must be landing there
Security
because they're
lights.
so bright.
Got it.
When he was first going in, I went to the code guy, who was the part-timer from South Berwick. He
Joe,
said,
yeah.
don't worry, it's just a storage area, and the lights will be very subdued. lies on both counts. So,
Tom, can we get a name and address, please?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Wheat, 408 School Street.
Sorry,
Thank you,
Patty.
Michael.
We kind of live right next to each other, but
Right, yeah,
you
I-
can see the lights coming in, so.
I don't know what you guys want me to say.
Well, is, who are you?
I'm Sheldon Terrio, otherwise Future Generation Farms. I'm
Right,
over
so
at-
you're looking for the license to
Correct.
occupy part of one of the buildings,
Correct.
so.
And just
so-
to be clear, you're not the only person in the facility growing.
No,
Okay,
No.
just want to make sure that's
no,
clear to
I,
the
I
public.
have my own unit. It's Building 1, Unit B. So I'm pretty much in the middle. I'm not like when you come right through the gate, that little building or behind anyone's house. I'm pretty much right in the center.
Right.
I follow all state guidelines, all town. Minute we had the issue with the smell, we ran out, got all carbon filters, and they're going all the time.
But what happens if the carbon filters aren't doing the job and we have people coming in and complaining?
Well, you have to
Like,
get,
we
an-
have-
you
you
got-
just- You just replace the carbon filters, they're still complaining. So it has to be cleared up. Can't
Well-
smell it.
Well, is it,
no,
are
I
we
get
sure
you,
it's
but
his
I mean,
building?
I can tell you it's not for my unit. I mean, I can tell you,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that's one of the problems we have with that
There may be
facility.
a certain unit, because certain strains smell more.
Right,
I mean, you can have stuff that's, mild, or you can have stuff that's just really potent, And but carbon filters, they should take care of it. And if they don't, you have to, upsize your carbon filter.
right.
Are you aware of-
Mine, I have two. They're for each flower room. They're this tall and they're this big around.
Are you aware of growers that don't have carbon?
I keep to myself, I don't talk to anybody else. I'm just there for myself,
There's 5 buildings with, I guess there could be 2
Yeah.
tenants per building, or is there more?
There's 4 buildings and they're like 3 units, and then there's like a 2-unit,
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, I mean, if anyone else has any questions, I mean, I'm happy to
So-
answer.
So, other than the smell and the lights and everything, are you growing other places? Is this your
No,
first?
this is it.
This is
Yep,
the one,
this-
so,
yep.
I'm just trying to get a background on what you as a business
No, I
owner.
actually, I'm a plumbing, heating tech, gas, refrigeration, all that by trade, but I just didn't want to do it anymore. I've used cannabis my whole life, it helps me. I've got back issues, and then you'd be like, oh, he's a young guy, but I've already had one surgery, and it helps me sleep at night, and I grow it for patients. It goes to dispensaries, so.
So, how do we go about giving him his license when we still have odor problems? I'm not saying it's coming from him, but who's gonna go down there and check this building for odor? How are we gonna do that?
Who's the guy that owns it?
So from the onset of this, the position from the planning department, or the position for the town is we take a no tolerance with odor issues. I think if there are odor issues, it's negligence. There's the technology to make it so there's no, you can make it so the building, first of all, the building should be sealed. Second of all, you can make it so the air doesn't seek out, you can have
Right, all
it
negative pressure,
sucked in,
right.
and then you can filter it. So it's gonna be it's gonna be odor violations. We have
Right,
that.
so how do we keep it so we don't see these 2 people come back in here complaining to us that nothing got done?
Go for the landlord, not the grower.
Well, it's gotta, yeah, this,
Well, that's something the code's gonna have to, someone's gonna have to do.
I thought, so, I haven't had any formal complaints, it's been a year plus.
We've talked about it to you though. You and I have talked about it. I can smell it going home.
Right, but
in
rather,
the
yeah,
truck, so I know.
it's gotta be dealt with.
Yeah, it's gotta be dealt with, you're right.
So it starts with violations, and
The
it's gotta be remedied.
violations are against the landlord,
Correct.
because, okay.
Well, these guys are up to, you gotta put the filters and stuff, right? The landlord doesn't do that, or does he?
No, we do.
So it's up to the people that are renting them, they gotta take care of the filters.
Right, but it's the landlord who's
But-
responsible.
But it should be up to the landlord to enforce it.
Right.
you know,
What we can
it-
do,
The
what we,
bottom line is, we're gonna enforce it.
Right.
It's gotta be done.
right.
what we can do is when people come in for their license renewals, we can make it a stipulation to get renewed that they have to have carbon filtration, that they have to make sure the filtration is up to date,
It's already there, Noah.
then
It's
it,
there, everything they gotta do is there, right? That's what they have to do already. So it's like, okay, so they got all the stuff we need, we can still smell it. The lights are still coming to my house, what are we gonna do?
So,
That's what I wanna know, so we don't have to see them again.
Particularly the schools.
Yeah, you got
Local
that,
school,
Yeah.
it's right, lives right across from me, they smell it, and these are kids.
So it sounds like, you know, we need, basically you're saying we need a formal complaint for code enforcement to do
Which
anything.
I've documented today, a formal complaint today, and
Okay.
it'll be on, between code and myself to,
don't they have some sort of snifter thing that you can put there and you can tell what building this is coming from, or you know, how they do that?
Well,
They measure the sound, these
You
outside
should, you should be able to walk by it and smell.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
exactly.
You know, if it's that
smell it.
strong, you should be able to just walk by each
Right.
unit.
we've
So
spent.
it's the code enforcement officer's responsibility to go out and check?
Yes.
So
Okay.
she has to go around sniffing these things.
It's gotta do what it's gotta do, but
Right, yeah.
She has to make an appointment with the owner because it's a locked gate, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So she'll have to make an appointment with Mr. Springer
Yeah.
and go in and check.
So-
So, and while she's there, she can check a lot of violations.
Yes, it's a locked gate, it's the only fenced area of the whole yard, is the gate itself, that's the only fence to keep people out. And there's a button for the keypad. Every time somebody, a truck pulls in there, they lay on the horn. For
Until
someone
somebody
inside,
opens
to
the
hear the
gate.
horn and open the gate.
there's not a speaker?
I don't go in there, so I don't know. I would assume there would be an intercom system. You push the
Yeah,
button,
intercom
hi, I'm here
system.
for a delivery. They hit the horn, that's, hi, I'm here.
That's no
It-
good either.
No.
Is,
But none of these issues have to do with him. This guy, I say give him the license. It's the
I understand
landlord.
that, I guess somehow you have to draw the line and put some pressure on the landlord.
On the
How do you
landlord.
do that?
Fines.
is,
Fines.
You gotta
He
bring the
starts
landlord.
complaining, not gonna give me a license because it smells. That's pretty much a good pressure,
With-
right?
Yeah, but that's,
James-
then you put us in the wrong
if-
person.
So. if you did-
if you, you know, you have a formal complaint, is when code enforcement, you know, goes, I'd like to go with them.
Okay.
You know, I've never been to this facility, I wanna see it firsthand, you know, and find out exactly what's going on, so, and,
Can we make that appointment?
I've
You
been
have to
there.
make
It's-
two
it's-
appointments because you want to, you normally, sir, you normally grow during the day, right? You're normally operating during the day.
Yeah, I'm only there,
I was there when we came
used
before
to
the
this.
planning board.
yeah, no, I go there in the morning and then I'm out, you know, mid-afternoon.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is, we also want to check the lights, which means they need to be there, and you're saying you can't go and check unless you have an appointment?
Well, you got to be able to get into the facility
well,
first.
for the lights, you wouldn't have to.
No,
You just-
she should
no,
be able
It's
to,
beyond the borders.
I'd put the
Yeah.
pressure on the landlord for the lights and the smell.
Well, that's why, I'd like to meet this guy.
We never approved a lighting plan, James? You know how they do that lighting plan, they have the lights laid out, they got.
Well, they're
somebody
supposed to be,
moving
they're
this
supposed to
area.
be following the dark sky policy.
he's been pointed out early on in the process, he had to make adjustments to the lights because there were complaints. And supposedly those were, that was taken care of. And now we're hearing about it again, so.
Yeah, it sounds like they took down some trees, is that?
Well, he took down the hill that was the windbreak. Westerly winds blow right towards us.
They took down the
Now
tail and the
wind
lights
blows
don't work,
over-
that's
over
why.
top here, it blows all the trees over.
Yeah.
And it blows the smell right towards her house and my house.
Yeah, yeah, so, like I said, is, let me know when, you going out there.
Yeah.
And, I'd like to check
Absolutely.
that out
Yeah, let me
personally.
know, too.
I
Okay.
mean, it's horrible, you know, when you're sitting in your yard and you're swinging, it's a beautiful day, and all of a sudden, you're getting this in your face.
Oh, I drive by and smell it every once in a while, yeah,
There's
I
a lot
can,
of people I've told come down Route 9 and they've smelled it so bad.
Okay, we need to hold the landlord accountable.
all right, so.
Nothing against it, but I don't want to smell it.
So we've heard a lot about the facility itself, a little bit about the license for Mr. Terrio here. So then the question is do we grant him the license to operate his business? While at the same time we going after the landlord?
Yeah, I don't see how you
Yeah,
punish a
exactly.
business owner. I mean, that's why you have a landlord. That's why.
As
it's paying
well,
for
we
it.
already have
The
conditions
only way we're
on
gonna
it.
get pressure anyway out of the landlord is by not giving him a license and letting him keep doing what he's doing, but he's gotta bitch to the landlord and say, look. this is
I
going
understand,
on,
but if
you
he's
can
following
straighten
everything,
out.
No.
if he's following everything he's
Use
supposed,
it.
no.
No, you
No.
can't, you can't.
I'm not gonna penalize somebody who's doing everything they need
I don't
to
think
do.
it's right to punish him for the landlord's
He's been
mistakes.
growing it there for a year without a license anyway. This is.
No, no,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
No, what do you,
Wrong guy.
no, yeah.
There's also where they put in a garage, and then they changed its use to making CBD oil. That's what somebody was asking, what oil?
yeah, what
They
oil?
make CBD oil there. And I guess they use, I'm not sure the process there, but usually there's a distillant, like alcohol or propane, to make it, so it's explosive.
Got it.
Well,
Yep.
So
And I-
that's a
and-
smell.
and
That's probably
She
wrong.
believes that's the building
That's a
someone's living in
violation.
also.
That's,
Yeah, I was gonna
He
say.
doesn't have the
That
license
sounds
to
like a
do it
separate code
there.
enforcement
And
issue.
that's something we found out
That's-
today. So,
what do we have for code enforcement teeth?
One thing I can say, there is no processing on that facility
You're not, no processing of,
of oils. Not at all. Or not that I know of, you know. I mean, like I said, I keep to myself, but you'd hear other people talking about it.
you do hear that?
What's that?
You do hear that?
No,
People-
no. You would hear if somebody's talking that they have a processing there. And Springer would not put up with that.
So
If
you
it's-
don't know what
if
they're
it's-
doing in the
If it's
garage?
not approved, that would not be able to be there.
They approved it before.
Really? Oh, I didn't know, so I'm just there and I just grow my medical cannabis. you
Like I
know.
said, I'd like to check this out.
What's that?
Where are you from?
I live right in Wells.
but you don't live right next door,
No, I do
okay?
not.
And we've been through this already with the oil and the lights and the smell.
No,
Okay?
I understand where you're
It's
coming
like I
from.
said, this is the third time we're at a meeting because of the same darn thing. Now, I've been there for over 30 years, and I have a right to be there. I've been there before they were.
No,
And if
that's
they
fine,
can't
but
get
you don't
their
have to
act
get
to-
upset at me.
No, sir, I'm just trying to explain it to you. And if they cannot get their act together, I'm not saying blaming you or anything. I said, I'm not against anything like that, but I'm just against the smell, you know, the oil, the lights.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And they should get their act together and get it fixed. I mean,
We
they
will.
keep saying they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, but you know how many years it's been now and they're still not doing it? I'm sorry, I'm upset.
We will.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right
will.
to be upset.
James, address what Office of Medical Marijuana is doing with the oils.
Yeah, so in terms of an extraction lab, the main Office of Marijuana Policy did an investigation there. And it's been in the works for a year and a half. I'm still waiting on that report, but the person that was doing that, I understand, may have issues with their license, and it's certainly not permitted there. There's no processing that's permitted there.
It's a grow facility.
It's a cultivation facility.
Right.
Yeah.
so has
So-
anybody seen inside the garage to know for themselves? Is it,
Well, we will find out.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, so in the planning department, we won't know unless it's brought to our attention. It's brought to our attention this morning, so it'll be thoroughly investigated and will be dealt with. I mean, it's in our ordinance.
After,
Yeah.
you know, it's not right. I've been saying this all along about where the buildings are being built, too close to homes. The other one up on Route 4 is a nightmare. It's unbelievable where these things are going. Just,
Hey,
you have to
back-
start thinking about it.
And isn't
Back to the,
am I wrong, but isn't it right by law, they should have an 8-foot fence up around those buildings?
I'm not familiar with those.
Well, I think you
Yeah, I
better
don't
look
think they
into
have
it,
to have
because
an
from
eight-
what I read,
Yeah,
by law, they should have an 8-foot building around that whole building, that whole place.
yeah.
They don't?
No, sir.
Oh, I
No,
thought it was all fenced in, no?
No,
Most of
sir.
them on the road, huh?
No,
I don't
sir.
think they're
I'm
required.
gonna have to move this on because that has nothing to do with the licensing. You know, I'm glad you did come down.
Yes.
No, because, I haven't heard this side of it, like you've told me, and
Don't hear
I'm
anything
interested.
about it in 2 weeks?
come back.
Come next Tuesday, 2 weeks from today, come back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stay
Is,
right
um,
on it, we'll get it figured out.
So again, is, we have the question of the licensing.
As James pointed out, he's already talked to the applicant and put conditions on the license that to make sure that these issues are addressed, right?
I would propose, the recommendation would be approving the license and the board imposes the conditions. approving the license with those conditions.
Read those conditions again for us, please.
If building 1B is the source of any land use ordinance violations, the violation shall be resolved within 2 weeks or the license will be revoked. Mr. Terrio shall provide proof of carbon filtration replacement to be approved for the next license renewal by August 24, 2022.
That's reasonable.
I move that we approve the license with the conditions as read.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 4-1, Patty. Thank you.
involved with him down at Wells and putting that new facility in at Wells with Springer?
No.
No?
All right. Moving on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have reports of committees. BCTV is not have one. I see Jeremy Caston is here.
Guys.
Jeremy, are you going to be doing it? Oh, yes, here he comes.
Here he is.
I'll just buy the new carbon filters and I'll show you guys the machine and stuff like that. Perfect.
Hello.
All right, well, thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jeremy.
Howdy.
Guys.
Thank you.
Uh, Just a quick update. I know James filled you in on Open Farm Day, and we're a little ways from it, but it was a really nice event, great turnout. I think the beginning of something big in Berwick for years to come, something that we can grow and learn from, and hopefully, continue to support the farmers and farms here, and hopefully grow that as well. So all important goals that we've been working on. Coming up for September 1st, and probably before then, a new Berwick Quarterly will hit everyone's mailbox. We're really happy with it. We got a lot of great elements, and I think a lot of really good information, including the push in the immediate future for making something special out of the move of rec department's trunk or treat from in front of town hall to the rec field. And we're also next month gonna start monthly meetings to gear up for what we hope is going to be Bring Your Lawn Chairs to Sullivan Square 2022. So we're hoping to book a variety of acts and do kind of more of a variety show format with musical acts and performers, local performers, and have hopefully local kids come and perform, bring their families, and expand the event to encapsulate some of the ideas that Lisa Hustis has shared with us from years past with the Berwick
Heritage Festival.
Heritage Festival. Thank you. Additionally, we are joining up with the Falls Chamber to bring in Somersworth, Rollinsford, and the other Berwicks. This will be our festival, but we want to be inclusive, and we want to, pull from our other communities, talent, and volunteers, and make a big to-do next summer. So that's our plan. We certainly can use help. Anybody who's excited about throwing big events like this, or live music, or who has experience with this sort of stuff, we definitely could use, hands on deck next summer, but also people coming to the meetings and participating and getting their ideas out there. But it promises to be very exciting, and we're pretty jazzed about it. The only other thing I have to share with you is that we are at the beginning stages of forming a new committee. We are calling the Dig a Hole Once Committee. James and I have had several conversations with Frank Underwood, who shared with us some of his expertise in working with various agencies in the past to try and get more than one thing going at a time. It's not something I have a lot of experience with, but it does seem as though there are people, and as before with Envision, there are people who do and who are interested in helping move some of these ideas forward. So that committee has formed, and we now have, I think, 4 or 5 people on it, including Sharon from the library. And so I think it'll be a great way to keep moving some of those other projects that aren't so marketing focused forward, and I look forward to learning more about it and having that to share with you all. And I think that just about covers it. And there's obviously a million other things, but those are the big ones at the moment.
That dig a hole once, is that more like upkeep on the trails and everything else that we kind of put something forward and then we kind of forget about it? And then, you know, or.
I think it's more, but Frank's expertise is in dealing with, and somebody, you know, there who's been around a lot longer could probably speak to this better than I could, but
Yeah, let me do
he
it.
had-
Let me do it.
Thanks, Jim.
So it's like, we start with, it's about sequencing projects. It's about the drainage. We want to make sure that we get the drainage.
Okay.
You know, we want to build for a 100-year storm, any drainage we do. And while it's all dug up, we want to see if we can get the power underground, and then kind of go in from the layers from there. So we want to try to get everything layered on top of each
Perfect.
other and sequenced, and the grants lined up together to pull everything off to make it and then it goes all the way up from underground infrastructure to the streets, the sidewalks, the street trees, the lighting.
So literally to take one stab at a project instead of coming back at the same thing 6 or
Yeah.
7 different times. Yeah.
That's the thought behind it.
Yeah.
Save everybody money and accomplish more.
Exactly.
And also show that we have our plan
Thank you,
together by having it sequenced, as James said.
Excellent.
Any other questions for Jeremy? If not, I thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Keep up the
Thank
good
you,
work.
guys.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
We have no department reports, no appointments, nothing under unfinished business. Is town manager's report.
With all the rain, paving slowed down a little bit, so this past week.
It rained?
But they were out on Long Swamp, redoing, reclaiming today, and hopefully they'll get to the paving by either Friday or next week if we have some good weather. The water project, we had a meeting last week with Wright Pierce, and the representative who's an engineer, she's from DHHS, who oversees the grant or the loan that we have, the 1.2 million, and setting the guidelines of what we can do and what we can't do. The Wright Pierce did not find a well that produced enough volume in all the sites they looked at. So we are going back at the drawing board, which we had done with Ty Bond, and which is, I would consider this phase 2, which is to come up with a plan, and I think most of that's been done with a prior engineering firm, and how we're going to remove the manganese from the water. We also heard from DHHS that the state of Maine will probably in the next few years start regulating concentrations. There'll be a standard set, and we probably won't do very well at it if that's the case. So we need to move forward with that, and they're trying to set up a meeting with Jody either next week or the week after to move the project forward. So water
Did they
quality.
actually come in and drill wells?
Oh, yeah, they
Did
did.
you go see them, Mike?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was watching them out behind the
Plant.
the water plant there.
That's where they were up
Well,
there?
That's one of them.
they
One of them.
5 or 6 different places. They were up on Hubbard Road and out off of Ridland Road and
Pine Hill.
Pine Hill. I talked to the guy and, you know, and they said they drilled down and they, you know, barely nothing. You know, some of them went 100 feet, you know, but yeah, nothing of any volume at all, which is really surprising me,
So
considering where they were drilling. So,
water quality's been better since Jody's been here, and he's made some changes on how they treat it, he and Star. And also, we put a mixing mechanism in the standpipe that keeps the manganese out of solidifying. And I see the clarity in most of what we have here, and he says the water quality's been pretty good, and I think he's right. Even while we were in a drought, I don't think we're in a drought anymore with all the rain we've had. So their challenge is treating what's there now with all the water and disinfection byproduct. But he also had a company out who had to spray paint or power wash the standpipe because some of it was chipping, some of the paint was chipping off. He did that, and in the meantime, There's a lot of other issues that we found, which some of them we knew about from the report that we discovered that was done in 2018, never brought forward. So he and I have to talk tomorrow, and James, about what we can do there. And we need, so we can bring it into compliance, one with OSHA, and two with the condition of the standpipe. And we actually have been putting money aside over the years for the standpipe work, so we should have enough to do what we need to do.
Did we just spend a pile of money on that a few years ago, Tom?
We spent some money up there, I think, first year, and
Yeah.
yeah, we
Paint it? Something inside the tank.
yeah,
we
we did something outside, yeah.
Yeah, we did, wasn't when I was here, but we did an inspection on the interior.
Yeah.
And the interior was fine. There were some things, but nothing major. It was the exterior that we found issues with. The release valve wasn't done correctly. You had some OSHA violations on the top of the standpipe with railings and things that weren't done on the ladder, you know, that goes up to it. So those are things that need to be addressed, and Jody's on top of that. So hopefully it won't become an issue, but we'll go ahead and fix those. Also, we got notification today, I always love this, from the state of Maine, Department of Transportation. And starting, they're giving us plenty of heads up, but starting in 2022-23, which will be fiscal year 23, we will be responsible for regular maintenance, salting, plowing, patching, Route 9, Route 236, and Route 4. We don't know exactly the lengths. Peter Coughlin, who runs the program for that, just notify us, and we get $4,200 per mile payback from the state, which we do on a lot of other roads that we take care of. Personally, it's never enough money to take care of what we spend.
No, no.
And I have a nickname for that program. It's called the LRAP program, but I call it the You Rip Me Off program.
Yeah.
Because the state,
Now they're pushing it on us. You know
Yeah.
what, don't take it till they repave everything and fix it. We don't have to do it.
we don't have to pave it, and any major capital improvement projects have
We
to,
gotta maintain it.
we
Gotta plow it.
we have to plow it, we have to replace culverts. But any reconstruction and paving, they will continue to do, which they've repaved, shim and overlaid on Route 9, 236, and Route 4. So we'll see how long it lasts. But in the meantime, that's coming for next year's budget.
We don't have any argument about that? I mean, there's nothing
We
we can do?
don't
They
have a
tell us what
choice.
we gotta do it.
It's state law because it's in the statute, actually, because we have grown to over 7,500 people. And South Berwick is in the same boat. They're going to have to go through the same thing in their sections. And again, Peter said that he doesn't have the exact footage. That's yet to come. But he wanted to give us heads up because in the next 6 months, we'll be planning a budget, and we need to make sure we have enough money
Do we know when we'll
Starts
get
what,
that footage?
This winter or next winter?
next winter. Yep. What else do I have? That's it for now.
Okay. Have nothing under Selectmen's communication. We do accounts payable. We have a payroll warrant number 10 for August 19th, 2021 for the amount of $78,322.34. We have an account payable warrant number 12 from August 24th, for August 24th, 2021, for the amount of $657,398.71. We have a payroll warrant number 11 for August 26th, 2021, for the amount of $69,610.20. I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. The new business. Town manager search announcements. As most people know, we've been, Steve had announced a couple months ago that he was gonna be retiring, as we tried to talk him out of it, but he insisted. Because we've been, hired the firm MRI to conduct a search for us. They did a pretty thorough search. We interviewed several different people. And after going through and talking to some people who pulled out at the last minute, we as a board sat down with the town manager and we talked to James Bellissimo, our town planner. James has been volunteering and working with the town for the last 8 years. Started out with the Downtown Vision Group, and I credit them mostly with what's going on in town here with the prime tanning and everything. He's got 2 degrees, including his master's degrees in government studies. He's been running our planning department for the last several years, and we think that he would be the best person to fill our town manager spot. We interviewed him twice now. We hit him pretty hard with some questions, tried to scare him out of it. We weren't successful, but the executive session before the regular meeting here, we sat down with him one more time, and we've decided to offer him the position. So to make it official, I'm going to make the motion that we appoint James Bellissimo as the new town manager.
Second.
Motion and a second. Anybody else have something to say? All those in favor?
When is this gonna be effective?
Well, Steve's,
My last day is September 3rd, so it will be effective September 4th.
yep,
We work straight through his appointment, so.
They called at 12:01 a.m.
Sitting in his office by himself, nobody else be in the town hall.
I think that, James has shown a real commitment to the town. And as I've said to other people, it would be terrible if we had a town manager that wanted to hang around for 20 years or more, you know? Without any further ado, all those in favor? Or did we already vote? We already
Yeah, you
voted.
voted.
Yeah.
Fine. You can
Okay.
vote again if you want.
Congratulations, James, and our condolences.
Or Jim's.
Well, we're here to help you.
We did try to talk him out of it very strenuously. He didn't take the hint.
Glutton for punishment. He must be if he was on the planning board all that time, so.
It's true.
All right, that brings us to 2022 tax commitment. I see Karen is with us. Hey Karen, how are you?
Yes, hi there. Very good, thank you. How's everyone tonight?
Not
Good, thanks for
bad.
joining us.
Everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. So, here tonight to talk about the tax commitment and to settle on the tax rate for this fiscal year, 2021-22. So I included in your packet is a couple of sheets that I'll go over. The first one will be the prior year comparison, where it shows last year compared to this year. And on that sheet, you can see on the prior year comparison sheet that you can see that the town's total taxable real estate valuation has increased by $16,542,612. This is a 2.31% increase over last year. It's also the second largest increase, not including the revalue of 2019 in the past 10 years. So we've had a lot of growth in the real estate. It's primarily due to an increase in new residential and commercial construction. Next, you'll see our personal property increased by $1,520,510. This is a 25.99% increase from last year. Also, our Betty exemption and reimbursement increased by 58.74%. This is a very big increase over last year. There's a combination of factors that led to this overall increase in personal property. First off, we worked well as a team. with our assessing agents getting out to the field and doing some preliminary field visits before RRC came to do their field inspections. RRC is the personal property valuation company that was contracted to do that. They conducted or attempted to conduct site visits to all businesses. They also valued all of the personal property. So their expertise was greatly appreciated, and it's really made a big difference. We picked up a total of 24 new personal property accounts as a result of this effort. Next up on the spreadsheet, you'll see that our tax appropriations increased a little bit, 1.4% for the county tax. Municipal appropriations in the school actually decreased slightly by 3.98% and 2.61% respectively. And the tip that we have, the tip value at $19,596 is a slight decrease of $4,246 compared to last year. This is primarily due to an adjustment to the assessed value of the property at 20 Sullivan Street. This is the former prime tanning parcel with the buildings that were demolished and such. Overall, total appropriations decreased by $574,875, which is a 3.4% reduction. State revenue sharing is up significantly by $600,000, while other revenues decreased by $664,000 for an overall reduction of $64,000, which is a 1.92% reduction in total deductions from last year. That's a basic quick rundown of our comparison to last year with regards to valuation, appropriations, and deductions. The next spreadsheet that I'd like to go over is the overlay. It shows you the overlay selections compared to the tax rates that we could select. I've attached a spreadsheet that shows the potential range of overlay amounts depending on the rate selected. The minimum tax rate that could be selected is $18.15, while the maximum rate is $19.05. The maximum overlay is $696,025. So in consideration of the noted changes in valuations, appropriations, and revenues, it's our suggestion that a tax rate of $18.30 be selected. This is a decrease from last year's tax rate of $19.36. At a tax rate of $18.30, the overlay would be $117,307 rounded. So that's a little bit of an increase, which I think is maybe called upon given the growth in the valuation of both personal and real estate. And that's where I'll end it, and I'll open up to any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Karen? So you're proposing the tax rate of $18.30,
Yes,
and, which is a reduction of $1.06 over this past year.
We have to do a deduction?
yes,
Could be
because
left-
of
could be
the
left as-
value. Right, you can't go any higher than $19.05.
So yes, it has to be reduced.
Has to be reduced, you know, and what that does is the overlay is, you know, when we give abatements and things like that on tax properties. So that's in the kitty to, you know, take care of all of that, so.
And you said if we did something like 19.5, it would be an overlay amount of like 600,000, is that what you said it was?
Right, $696,025
Yeah.
is the max.
Is, I'd recommend we stay with what Karen's proposing.
1830.
That's what we basically do every year, you know, over and over again.
With the new personal property tax assessment, because we hired this agency, we may get some pushback. And Karen and I talked about this on some of it, so there may be abatements coming that, and just looking at it again, but you want to make sure you don't fall short in that end of things. So that would be my concern, it's just, because that's a new thing we just did. And we picked up quite a bit.
Any other questions of Karen?
I just make a quick comment. I think both the school and the town reduced their budgets this year. The school was able to get money from the ARP or AARP funding, and they put that towards reducing their expenses. And we were very conservative this year on the municipal side, and we reduced what our increases were. So both the parties worked well together, I think, to try to bring this tax rate. We didn't expect the increase in valuations to be so high, but which just tells you how much we're growing. But I think it's, to be cautious, it's good to be 1830, and the taxpayers catch a break.
I think they'll appreciate that too.
So, with no further questions, we have a motion to accept Karen's recommendation.
Second it? Making the motion?
So I was asking for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks,
we
Noah.
accept the tax rate of 18.3.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. We're good. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, Karen. Lower the tax rate.
Boy, I forget to sign this and pass it
Not
on.
often you get a second before you have a motion.
Right?
So the next up is the November 2nd, 2021 town referendum election. I'll get to the warrant questions in just a second. Sign this before I forget it. All right. So really is, we have the complete package is, the referendum is Article 2. Shall the town vote to adopt the amendments to land use ordinance regarding zoning for marijuana establishment? James went over this with us in the last
Times.
meeting. Planning board had another meeting on it also, correct?
Public hearing.
The public hearing on it, so this vote is just to allow it to be on the warrant.
Well, this is what you recommend
Right,
for the articles.
so,
Just,
So-
just real quick. At the public hearing, was there people interested in this particular land use
Any
ordinance
comments?
change?
No, there was nobody that spoke in opposition of it.
Anybody speak in favor of it?
No, just for a slight tweak in it, or
Yep.
an addition of the clarification in the table and add the medical storefront to it.
so we need to, put down, how we, want it. So the board recommends a yes or a no vote, so I'll go through the roll.
One question, Tom.
Yep.
Aren't we we talked about extending that from 100 feet, James, to something more, from being put up behind a residential? The establishments cannot be within 100 feet. We talked about making it more than that, because if you look at the one problem we have in town, that's 100 feet. That's not good.
The one, that's 50 feet.
On Pond Road, that's 50 feet? I thought
I
they
think so.
had to
I
be
think
100.
I think the setback's 25 feet in that zone.
So why aren't we making it more? More than 100 feet?
Is it too late to change it? I mean, we can, I think at this time, everything's,
Yeah, we've had the public hearings
everything's,
on it.
everything's,
Yeah, if you vote on 200 feet tonight, then, yeah, that's fine.
well, I mean, we could keep it just for simplicity's sake, keep it the way it is, because everything is capped right now anyways. So we can amend it for June to
Yeah, that's.
clean it up.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And
so-
and again, like I mentioned last time, maybe the cultivation will come in for increasing the cap, but I cannot see us increasing the cap for storefronts.
So just to be clear, what you're saying is, even if we accept this change now, and the town votes on it, accepts it, and everything like that, there's not gonna be any new facilities in that time frame before we could have another vote on it if we wanted to extend it.
Right.
All right,
Okay.
just
The
wanted to
only-
make sure that
yeah,
was
the
clear.
only- yeah. The only exception would be 420 Portland Street, which they're already cultivating at their building. They'd
Yeah.
just be able to they'd be able to go in front of planning board for the first time and expand their use within their building.
Any other questions of James? I'll go through the roll. Is Linda?
Yep.
Noah?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Myself is a yes. 5-0.
Okay.
All right, and the second one is Article 3, shall the town vote to adopt the proposed amendment to the land use ordinance?
That one again.
Exhibit B.
That one is just cleaning up some of the verbiage, right?
Yeah, this is just,
Yep.
and the solar farms shall be screened from view by continuous landscaping or plantings.
Right.
So we just won't be able to see solar farms from the road is essentially the goal, unless
Yeah.
you're up on a hill. Some tall trees for that.
Any other questions about that one? If not, I'll go through the roll again. Is Linda?
Yep.
Noah?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And myself is yes.
Thank you.
All right.
A quick referendum.
And,
On an off year, there's no elections going on. This is it. This is the entire election, right?
There is a school vote on the bond for the building renovations,
Right.
the
Okay.
4, I believe. I'll get information up on, after you guys sign that tonight, on the website tomorrow. And there's a state referendum about the CMP corridor, so.
Okay.
It
Seems
should
to
bring
come up
people
every
out.
It seems,
18
it
months.
seems to be coming up forever for the past like 5 or 6 years at this point.
every 18 months there's CMP corridor on the ballot.
Weird too, because they're working on up Lewiston Arm, they're building a huge
Yeah.
station up there. and
all right, so we'll go through the
They're
rest.
just gonna steamroll through, aren't they?
They're trying.
We have no quitclaim deeds, no abatements, no second public comments. This is no public. We've already done our executive session. Other business, non-agenda items. Anybody have anything to bring up?
I just wanted to go back to, it wasn't on point because again, it wasn't about his license.
Yeah.
But in regards to the building and the landlord issue there, 3 years ago, when I was on the planning board and they were trying to get occupancy for the 4th or 5th building, these issues were brought up. We did the site walkthrough, those two people were there for the walkthrough. As far as I'm aware, we did talk about smell, about lights, about screening with more landscaping and stuff like that, so they couldn't be seen through the trees and things like that. I don't know what's been done since then, but it seems that this issue is persisting and that this is not just some idle issue. People don't keep coming back for idle issues like this. So I really think we need to put pressure on code enforcement and
Yeah.
get down there, find out what's going on, and make sure that the town ordinances are being followed, so that these people don't have to keep coming back here for the same issue again and
Yeah,
again,
Right.
because it's just not
Line
fair
in
to
the
them.
sand now.
You know,
That's it.
if all of us go down there and none of us can find an issue, I mean, you know, then that's what it is, you know. But I think there probably is something if they're going to keep coming back like this, and we just need to make sure that their codes are being followed, and that, you know, the landlord is being appropriate. You know, it starts with us. We go to the landlord. The landlord has to keep track of the tenants. If he's not going to keep track of the tenants, then, you know, at some point we have to intervene.
No, I
Gotta
would
hold
agree.
him accountable, the landlord, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would agree, especially where you look at seemingly a tenant that is doing everything that he needs to be doing.
Right.
You know,
And he's
with
getting caught in the crossfire.
exactly. So, we need to make sure that's cleaned up.
That's one of the reasons I said I'd like to, go.
Yep.
I've never seen the facility, as I
Yeah,
see
if I
it keeps
can.
expanding, I like to, try to get a better read on it myself. So,
Agreed.
any other comments, questions, anything? We do have to sign for the school warrant. There's about 10,000 signatures.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's why I'm hurrying through it now, but other than that,
I also just realized that officially this is our last meeting with Steve.
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Now that the
I'm
dates are
pretty
sinking in my head.
I'm
I said
pretty sure
officially.
we're gonna see him again at some point in the future, but good catch.
So thank you, Steve, for,
Yeah,
the
thank
last
you
couple
very
months
much.
with me, at least trying to bring me on board and up to speed. I
Thank you
really
for like the
appreciate
last
it.
6 years of very even-handed management. I feel like the town has improved, at least as long as I've been paying attention to it. There's been increasing levels of competency, increasing levels of commitment from the town, I
it's been
certainly don't
nothing
think
but-
we're worse off than we were 3 years ago, so.
No, it's very positive. Everything's
Yeah.
positive.
I'd just like to thank this Board of Selectmen and previous select people on this board I've worked with for 6 years. I couldn't ask for a better community to retire from. It has been such a positive run for me, and have the public support we've had for all the things we've tried to do and goals that everybody set out. It's been an awesome run, and I can't say enough about the employees that this town has. We have a great team of department heads and employees who work hard and seem to enjoy their job, and I'm sure that will continue under James' guidance and this board's, but I'd like just to thank you all. I can't say enough about how much this community's been great to work with.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, I have to say, I said it to you just the other day, is when we first brought Steve here and hired him, and I first met his wife Ellen out front here, I told her that I think I'd found my partner in crime.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think we've had a real good run over the last 6 years, considering when Mark and I started 8 years ago almost, is what the town was going through. You're the first town manager that took a real interest in the town since the mid-90s. And I've worked with all the town managers in between.
That's a good statement, you're right.
Even though you're not from here and you never officially moved down, we always felt that you were part of Berwick because your heart was here.
Sure was. It's a unique community, and I say that sincerely.
It's unique, all right.
To have everybody in this community, most everybody pulling in the same direction under the guidelines of what the Envision Berwick group has done and what you have all set out for goals. It's been phenomenal, and we've had additional 2 new select people here who joined for good reasons. They want to be part and make a difference in this community, and I think if you can continue that kind of elected officials moving forward, and you don't always agree, which is healthy. So I had a lot of people call me about this job when it became open, and I could not say enough. And MRI, the company, did a great outlay of what was happening here. And I looked at that and I said, geez, I think I want that job. What they said was so accurate about this community, and there's not a town manager out there who wouldn't want to end his career with a place like this. I'll miss it, but it was time.
You're always welcome.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
Yes.
Don't worry about that.
I'll be around, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my eye on this young man, and
Yes, please.
Well, we'll have you down for the ribbon cutting for across the street when they did the big one over
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I deserve a lot of credit on that one.
Yes.
so we'll get to watch this site grow. So you're in good hands and you've got great employees, so I'm encouraged that things will continue on, which is what you as a selectman and I think, and the community wants to see continue down the road that we've been going. But thank you both, all of you.
You know, it'd be really interesting, it'd be great to have a little bit more movement next door, just to people see something happen.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting rid of the rubble, one cartload at a
I
time.
was like, come on, guys, let's get going here.
They keep hauling stuff out of the building, and James and I out of the L-shaped building. And James and I are not sure when they do it, because we never see it. All of a sudden, there's a pile of steel there. And it disappears, and then a few days later, there's another pile of steel. I think there's little L's or something, they have it working at night, but
The tannery rat.
It's gonna be one of those things where it's like, it seems like it's such slow progress,
And also it's
progress.
just gonna be done.
And then all of a sudden, it's gonna explode with activity.
Yep.
And then you're gonna be like, a month later, it's gonna be like, how'd they build this in a month? It was,
Yep.
because it took them 3 years. That's how it's done in a month. It took them 3 years. It was a lifetime overnight success.
But Berwick has a lot going on still.
Yep.
You know, you've got a lot of great things happening in recreation under Angela's guidance. Jody has been a great addition and is moving things forward to correct what I think is one of the most important issues we have in this community is the quality of water.
Yep.
So, and I think all of it will get resolved with the team we have. So, exciting, it really is. But thank you.
Thanks, dude.
One more motion to make?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Again.
All those in favor? Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.